World War II. Women. So, during the World War II, women joined the workforce and the military. About 18 million women took jobs outside of their homes during the war, and up to 12 million before the war. Many women took positions held traditionally by men, such as becoming welders, mechanics, and lumberjacks, as well as lawyers. Nearly 2 million women worked in shipyards and other heavy industries. They often face hostility on the job, especially in male dominated industries. Women were paid less than men. Women were expected to work and take care of their children and housework just like the typical woman, ideal woman. And so, back to the side, women in the WAC became members of the military and army training. In 1942, the Navy and the Coast Guard also established their own branches for women. And Navy women were called waves, and Coast Guard women were spares. So, about WACs, only WACs served on the battlefield, working behind the lines in various support roles such as nursing. More than 200 American women died overseas as a result of enemy action. So, Jewish Americans. So, more than 50,000 Jews went to war around the ages of 18 to 44. Many Jewish Americans felt horrible for the outcome of the Europeans. However, that did not stop them from taking action. So what they did is boycott German products. Now, between 1953 through 1938, Hitler began to attack Jews. In March 1938, Hitler began persecuting Austrian Jews. So, November 9, 1938. So, what is so special about this day? Well, this day is a well-known night. It is known as Kristallnacht. Now, what happened? Well, it is translated as the Night of the Broken Glass, where mobs smashed the windows of thousands of Jewish uh, owned shops. More than 90 Jews were killed, and 30,000 Jewish men were arrested and sent to concentration camps. After Kristallnacht, thousands of Jews wanted to flee to the United States. However, the 1924 National Origins Act would not allow that. And so on July 1942, 2,000 people gathered at Madison Square Garden in New York City to protest Nazi brutality. Not only in Madison Square Garden, but in other parts like as Chicago and Los Angeles. By the end of 1942, the government knew that Hitler was slaughtering Jews. However, the action did not occur until 1944. Roosevelt created the War Refuge Board. And so, what is the War Refuge Board? It is arranged for Jewish refugees to stay at centers in Italy and North Africa, as well as in former army camps in the United States. And so here are some pictures of Kristallnacht. And so African Americans. Well, in 1940, thousands of African Americans lined up to join the armed force. By wars, and more than 1 million had served. However, there was segregation in the training camps. They ate separately from the white troops, and even slept separately. And so, Marines and Army air troops refused to take any African Americans, and the Navy only allowed African Americans to do the cooking, cleaning rooms, and shining shoes. And then in 1941, the Army Air Corps established its first black combat unit. In June 1941, Randolph met with President Roosevelt at the White House. And so what happened? Well, Randolph focused Roosevelt's attention by threatening and to lead a massive march on Washington to protest discrimination. And well, the threat worked, and on June 25th, 1941, Roosevelt signed Executive Order 18,002. Oh my bad, 8,802, outlawing discrimination by defense contractors. So what is the Double V campaign? Well, this is a call for an end to racism and segregation, and this received many support from several African Americans.